Hey peeps, it's 3 a.m. California Pacific Standard Time. If you didn't know, it's right now, by the grace of God and by the glory of God, I should say, we finally had some rain. Unfortunately, it was in the form of a thunderstorm. Sad, didn't like that. Anyways, peeps, I had to tell you guys something that you're not going to believe, but since this is Rapture Day, post-Rapture Day, I should say, nobody left. Everyone's still here. And I want to talk to you about what people have been talking about, this so-called religious psychosis, if not the man out of South Africa that started it all, because he had a dream back in June, several months ago. And also, while I'm waiting for my new game to load up, which is Honkai Star Rail's new patch that just came in, so if you guys don't know this, I'm starting to upload it. I was late, but I was waiting for the update to happen because I was like, what the fuck? Oh my god. Anyways, long story short, finally get to play it, guys. Yeah, and other good news I'll tell you guys all about later, but it's not important right now to talk about. But anyways, long story short, the man out of South Africa that was basically seen on some kind of video podcast of some sort out of over there back in June had a dream. He said that he claimed that people were all being raptured. Now, I don't want to conflate this in any other way to say you're not allowed to have any beliefs or whatever you want to, but we're in a time right now where we're in the part of the Bible, it's called perilous times shall come, and then we're in a time amongst many antichrists, and as well as other things that the people will see dreams and have visions. Now, that part of the dream right there, that's what I want to talk to you guys about today. And I don't want to say this to scare anybody or to actually, I really, let me backtrack that. I don't want to say this to disappoint anyone is what I really want to say. Some people, when they have dreams, some of them have those dreams what they call flying dreams. I don't know if you guys heard of a man called Carl Jung, but there are people who had flying dreams, including me, of course. I had many flying dreams where I'm just flying in the sky, but it has nothing to do with being raptured. It's just I'm just in the sky enjoying myself. And that's the fun thing about flying dreams. I like traveling in person, but most of all, also in my dreams. And I like that because it's fun, and it's fun to travel. Most of my dreams coexist in me walking somewhere, flying somewhere, or taking a bus or a train somewhere. But most of all, I'm going somewhere. But it's not up in the sky though, because I never had an airplane dream. So that's why I'm thinking this man probably confused one of his dreams as one of those flying dreams, and he thought he was seeing many people, was really just himself experiencing a flying dream. Now, some of those people will never admit that because they have to sell a grift after all. You know, there's some people who, for better to say good words or not, like, they had to kind of rope people into something. And also we have people dealing with conspiracy theories. Now, some of the people who deal with conspiracy theories are some of the same ones that are like would eat up the QAnon moron conspiracies, and also the other ones that are, you know, the Pizzagate conspiracy, stuff like that. Those are the kind of people, I'm not surprised, were also susceptible to this type of Rapture Day, which was yesterday. And I'm glad I waited till now to talk about this because, like I said, all day was just muggy, warm, and then at midnight starting, it was just a bunch of lightning storms here where I'm at. And yeah, nobody's flying away, especially on a rainy, stormy night like that. Or yesterday if they were supposed to leave, but like I said, it wasn't true. And I think that man confused a dream for a premonition. Not like when I told you guys several months back, where I had a dream about, you know, missiles coming this direction in this country. Now, I'm not sure if other people have the same dream, but I would have to say this, like in the Bible, when they say that you need to have 3 witnesses in order to, you know, prophesy something or be a witness to something for a testimony and stuff, unless someone else had the same dream he had, it just falls flat to me. And I could tell you this right now, I consider that as a flying dream from, you know, those people who do those dream books and stuff. and write about dreams. I would think that's what it was. He confused that for that. And then you have these pastors and preachers that they know they have a evangelical audience in their parish that eat up that kind of stuff. Some of them are probably MAGA moron voters too. Wouldn't surprise me. And people who are just into conspiracies and all this kind of weird stuff. I mean, this kind of reminds me of my childhood, actually. My father, one time, when I was in middle school, we went to Hot Topic. You know, that place that used to be like a sex kind of gothic store? Okay. And now it became like mainstream for some reason. All along, it used to be mostly what I just explained, a gothic type of store. And one time, my father thought it was a good idea to go steal a pentagram. Yeah, like one of those star in a circle kind of stars. Yeah, he thought because he was those type of people that ate up those kind of like conspiracies, if not the mark of the beast type of stuff, which by the way, it's in the Bible, by the way. It does talk about the mark of the beast, by the way. Well, he thought he needed to do that. And he kind of was hinting about this, and then for some reason stole one of those ones out of Hot Topic instead of buying it, which I thought was weird. And it was even more weird when he was talking about this crazy stuff. And as a middle schooler, myself, by the way, at that time, like around in 2002, 2001, 2003 is 2000, around that time, you know, around the time of 9/11 and stuff, which ironically no one talked about this year. And more in all, I'm trying to say is that I had to talk my father out of believing that stuff. It was crazy. I literally told him, Dad, I don't think there's going to be anything. I don't think there's going to be any mark of the beast. I don't think there's anyone's going to force you, because for some reason he was probably handed one of those chick type of little Bible tracts, or somebody from a church told him about some kind of mark of the beast stuff, and he got scared out of his brains. And all of a sudden he thought it was a good idea to just give himself up to the devil for some reason, just so he wouldn't have to deal with some type of murderous death, because it says in the Bible about the mark of the beast, about if those don't take the mark or something, they'd be killed or something. And so he thought it was a good idea to do that. And so I, as a kid at that time, I had to talk him out of that stuff because I thought he was just acting weird. And all in all, he took my advice. And one day while we were driving from that one highway that's between Buellton and Santa Maria, you know, over there, like if you ever live in Lompoc and if you ever live in Santa Barbara County, you would know that there's like a mountain. There's three actually kind of highways. One way to go to Vandenberg Village, the other one just goes straight up a squiggly slope of a mountain, and the other one goes straight to like Buellton, which would be like on your right. And so sometimes when we go to those towns like in Santa Maria and in Vandenberg Village, we would take that one squiggly road, and we did. And that was one of those days I remember plain as day, even though every day's been going fast in our lives, including my own. I literally had to talk my own father out of that. And that tells you how bad some people are that get deep into conspiracies and stuff and are just so, like, you know, susceptible, and people who are just convincing these grifters. I feel like some of these pastors and preachers do a disservice when they talk about stuff, and they get people, you know, just warped into thinking that something bad's gonna really happen. And so this is where you get some people, what you guys call going through religious psychosis. They're just people who just believe in weird conspiracies that are not even proven yet. And also, it even also proves one thing, that they don't take their time to read the Bible to get a better understanding. Because after all, God says in the Bible, of course, it's the best not to lean into your own understanding. That is why, you know, the famine that's going to happen sometime in this perilous times that we're in right now, the real famine that's going to really happen is the famine of not understanding what the Bible actually says. And that some people like these people are what they call in the Bible those who are going to have a strong delusion. And they are having a strong delusion. And God said in the Bible, he's going to let them. And unfortunately, these people are one of those people you just can't talk anything through, because they're just that lost in the sauce. They're just in deep, strong delusion, of deep delusions of grandeur, if you will. They're going to be hard to convince. I was able to convince my father that time. I don't know if I can do that anymore with people like this time. So just be aware, people, okay? And yeah, keep an eye on those kids or anyone who believes this crap.